Hey guys, how you going? So another week here on the homestead over and done with. It's been a week of very hot temperatures, finishing up with, as you can see, grey cloudy skies, thunderstorms and a lot of rain. So this week I did start the demolition of the barn that's just over there. The actual walls, well, I didn't start the demolition, I started demolishing the walls that used to be the barn. Some of the roof is still coming down, and I've been doing some wood chopping as well, getting ready for the winter log pile. So I had to tidy up that whole area as well. We've also started the harvest of the sunflowers. So I'll show you how I'm drying those this year. And yeah, that's about it this week. So anyway guys, I hope you've had a fantastic time. I hope you're doing everything you wanted to do, enjoying yourselves, and I will of course talk to you next week. Have a good one. Alright, so we've been continuing the demolition of the barn. Actually started to take down the first set of walls, and as they come down, we end up getting down to the foundation levels all the way down there. In the foundation we've got all of these rocks, and I slowly transport these up towards the garden where they go in to make a dry stone wall. But yeah, it's about 3 foot deep, the foundation. So it does take quite a bit of effort to dig out these stones, and for the last couple of days it's been raining. Everything's pretty wet, so it's, rather than jump around in here and just turn it all to quagmire, I've just left the demolition for these last couple of days. And these mud bricks will all get thrown over there, broken up, and this whole area, including this bit of barn that's still up, that will all become next year's primary field, as this field is left to go to fallow for a year. So all of the stone that I've been pulling out down at that demolition site, I've been bringing up here and turning into this stone wall. It's just the first couple of layers. It will get much bigger, and all of these little stones will get put in as well. But yeah, once I've finished that, the rest of the stone is going to come here and start replacing this wooden retaining wall. I'll replace that with stone. So we'll have a nice couple of dry stone walls in the front yard. And then the last bit of stone will be going into the main field, where I'll be ending up making a pond. Well, these chilli plants are coming along nicely. Lots of chilies on there, getting pretty big, the first one, and some more getting up to size. And we're still, the plants are still growing, and they're still producing new flower buds. So it's going to continue flowering and getting bigger. And hopefully we'll get a nice crop of chilies just off of these two plants. Well, glad to say that my Damati are getting bigger. Looks like it's actually going to be quite a decent crop of tomatoes. As this plant keeps growing, it looks like it's an indeterminate species. It grows, it produces a load of flowers, grows some tomatoes, then it grows some more, and as you can see, it's still producing new flowers and new growth, as the lower ones start to get bigger and plumper. As you can see, the pumpkins are starting to grow, looking a bit like watermelons at the moment, but I assure you they are definitely pumpkins. So this is a female flower being pollinated right now, and then this is going to develop into a pumpkin. And as you can see, the vines are actually being very aggressive and growing up the barn. But those plants are actually planted all the way over there to start with, and there are lots and lots of pumpkins being produced now, so we're going to get a very good harvest, as long as they don't get too big and break all the vines. I might have to figure out some sort of support structure for them. Well, one of the major successes this year is the grape harvest. This is a white grape, quite a sweet white grape, but as you can see, there's little grapes all over it, all the way along, bunches and bunches of grapes. So we are going to have a huge amount of fruit for winemaking this year, and come August, September time, I'll be showing you how I do my winemaking. Well, as you can see, the sunflowers are starting to droop. I mean, obviously there's still a few that are in full flower. I've actually taken out all of the ones that were here because they were over. But the ones that start to droop over, pretty much as soon as they face down and bulge outwards, I actually harvest them then to limit any bird damage, and I dry them out inside. I'll go and show you how I'm drying those. Well guys, before I show you how I dry now, I'll just show you how I decide if the sunflowers are actually ready to harvest. Now this one obviously bright yellow petals and these flower structures inside still completely intact and no browning, so we know that this one definitely, this head is definitely not ready, even though it is starting to bulge outwards a little bit more than the other flowers. Now this one, as you can see, the outside petals, they have died off, but there's no browning on the inside. As you can see, those flower structures are all still yellow. And also on the back here, another check you can make is just the colour. As you can see, mostly this is a pretty green colour all the way through. But over here on this one that is just about ready to be harvested, as you can see, it's getting much lighter in the middle, going an almost yellowy colour. Now as you see that yellowy colour, that's when I'm pretty confident that it's about ready to harvest. And the last sign I look for is that browning in the middle and the looseness of the actual flower structures, so each one of those little flowers should just rub away. Add that to the yellow and the bulging, and you can be pretty confident that this is ready now to be harvested. When the seeds aren't going to get much bigger, you're not going to lose any weight, so you might as well harvest it just to protect it from the birds that can come along and pick out the seeds. So we're just going to knock off that last little head that didn't quite develop, and then we're going to come in here and cut about a foot off, keeping a foot of stem, trim up the leaves, and then the last thing we do is come down here and cut it off at the base. So to dry the sunflower heads, I'm actually cutting them off with about a foot of stem, and then just tying them into bundles of 3s and 4s depending on the size of their heads, and then we just hang them up in an old room. This is obviously a junk room that is going to get cleaned out, I promise. But yeah, so these are the old heads, and as they dry out, I've got a couple of trays underneath them just in case they start dropping seeds. But in general, they should hold on to their seeds, and once they're completely dry, then I'll start separating the seeds from the heads. But that is going to be a few weeks yet.